Sambonani Dumelang, it's your boy Dreamer Adonis here with a tutoring video, guys. We're cooking up this December. To those of you writing N6 or if you are going to do N6 next semester, bro, I got you, bro. I got you. You saw the title of the video, you saw the thumbnail. We're going to be dealing with question 2 of November 2025, right? Let's do it. First things first, we got 1 over cot to the power of 4 3x. Now, we can't do anything. When we integrating this, we can't do anything yet. But the first thing we're going to do is convert this to its inverse, which is 10 to the power of 4 3x. Remember, the inverse of cot is 10, right? Next step. Now what we need to do is split this and make it 10 squared and 10 squared. Let's do that. Ten squared 3x and 10 squared 3x. And now, the next step is to get the identity of one of the 10 squared to get to or further, in order to get further. Now, when you look at your formula sheet, I'll just get it up right here. When you look at the formula sheet, you've got 1 plus 10 squared 3x is equal to 6 squared. All we need to do is move the 1 to the other side, making it 6 squared minus 1. So we can convert this to 6 squared 3x minus 1. Right, all right. Now what do we do next? Let's expand this bracket. Let's multiply this 10 squared with whatever's in here. Let's do that. Okay, we're doing that now. Now, what is the next step, guys? What is the next step? Put it in the comments below. What is the next step? Okay, now we're going to use U substitution. And the U here in this situation is going to be 10 3x, right? We're going to have 10 3x. And then we're going to have to differentiate this with respect to x. So let's do that now. That's going to leave us with 3x squared 3x. And the 3 is there because of the chain rule. Right. And now the next step is to make dx the subject of the formula. Let's do that now. Okay, now dx is equals to du over 3x squared 3x. Now what we need to do is substitute this and put it there. Let's do that now. Okay, we substituted everything right there. We put the u squared, 6 squared, 3x, and all of that. You're probably wondering, why didn't we substitute the u here? The reason why we didn't substitute it is because there's already a rule for this in the formula sheet, and the rule is right here. Look at that rule right there. Right, now the next step is to cancel out the 6 squared, and then you'll be left with that. All of that there. I don't know if you can see that. You'll be left with this. Now, the next step is to integrate. Substitute the 10 squared. Substitute the 10 back and integrate that. Yo, guys, I need a whiteboard. I gotta get a whiteboard. Subscribe and donate for a whiteboard. Okay. Let's integrate now. Okay, we got that. Now we just need to simplify everything and leave it in the final answer giving us 10 cubed 3x over 9 minus a third 10 3x minus x plus c. We got this, guys. That's good. Now for the next question. So now we've got y is equal to cos cube 5x and sine to the power 4 5x. Okay. Okay, we got that. What we do? What do we do? What do we do? Okay. Now the trick is to look for the lowest exponent in order to get a squared out of the exponent. Okay, between the two, the cos cubed 5x is the lowest exponent, and that can give us a cos squared 5x, right? Let's do that. Let's expand this to get cos squared 5x. Okay, we've got cos squared 5x. Now what's the next step? Use the identity for the cos squared 5x. After getting the squared there, use the identity, which is going to be 1 minus sine squared 5x. Let's do that. Now, what is the next step? I'll give you all a clue. What did we do for the previous question? 2.1. We obviously used the use substitution to take things further. Now let's use the use substitution because the reason why, oh my goodness, this thing is falling. This thing is falling. So guys, the reason why we're going to use this use substitution is because we need a sign, right? We need a sign. We need a cost. We need to cancel out this cost. The reason why we're going to use the use substitution is because we need to cancel out this cost. The only way to get that cost out is by getting a sign there. So we're going to make u equal to sign in order to get that. Let's do that. So u is equal to sign. Now let's differentiate it to get 5 cos 5x. 5 cos 5x, right? Now what's the next step? You're obviously going to make dx the subject of the formula. Now what we need to do is just substitute everything back into the question. Let's do that. Okay, now we've got this. What's the next step? Okay, the next step is to take this 5 out. This one is 1 over 5. We're going to take that out. And then we're going to cancel out the cos 5x in order to get this. One over 5 and all of that right there. Now what we need to do is just expand the bracket in order to get this. Okay. Now for the second last step, let's do this. Okay, what it did now was multiply the 1 over 5 by what's inside the bracket. Now what you need to do is just multiply these two to get u to the power 5 over 25 minus u to the power 7 plus c. And now for the last step, let's substitute the u inside. Let's substitute what was u. What was the u, guys? What was the u? What was the u, guys? Comment it down below. What was the U? So your U was, your U was sine. And that right there, ladies and gentlemen, is your final answer. Now, what's the next question? Let's go to the next question. So, guys, the next question is y is equal to the square root of 1 plus 2x minus 3x squared. Okay. Hey, guys, what do we do? What do we do with a question like this? Okay. First things first, write this in standard form. What I mean in standard form is that the 3x must go to the front, the 2x in the middle, and the one there in the last row, and the one last. Writing that in standard form, basically your quadratic equation, basically a trinomial. Yes, write it in normal trinomial state, in trinomial form. I mean, so let's do that. Let's do that. Okay. So we're gonna get that minus 3x squared plus 2x plus 1. And now what's the next step? Okay. Now what you need to do is take out the 3 and make it under the square root. Then when you take out the 3, it's gonna affect everything in the trinomial. Let's do that. Let's do that. Okay. Now that you took out the 3, everything else got affected. Everything else changed. Now the next step is to equate this to 0. Let's do that. Once you've equated everything to 0, the next step is to divide everything by -1. And when you divide everything by -1, every single sign is going to change, leaving us with x squared minus 2 over 3 x plus 1 over 3. Now, what is the next step? Comment it down below. What is the next step now? What is the next step? Right now, our next step is completing the square. I'll break it down for you bit by bit. Okay, I'll break it down for you slow. Let's put everything in a bracket. Right, let's start with the x squared minus the 2 over 3x. And now what we are going to do is add 2 over 3 divided by 2. So basically, going to square. So what we do when it comes to completing the square, right? When you look at the coefficient of the second term, what you're going to do is divide it by 2 and square it. And that's not all. That is not all. And then, yo, guys, I made a mistake. I don't know if you guys caught it, but I made a mistake. I didn't change that sign. So that sign there should be a negative. That sign there should be a negative. That sign there should be a negative. Right, okay. And now what we're going to do is subtract the same number here. You're going to use this -1 over 3 and subtract whatever number we get there. Okay, I'll just put it here because there's no space. I'll just put it right here. I'll just put it right here and say minus that. Okay, let me repeat the whole process again so you guys get it engraved in your scouts. Okay, so what we did was that we just put everything in brackets and added the we first. So now we added the coefficient divided by 2 squared. That's completing the square. the coefficient of the second term. Wait, wait. Okay, guys, I'm making another mistake here. I'm not putting the minus there. So we added that over 2 squared. The coefficient of the second term divided by 2 squared. And now let's simplify it. What is negative 2 over 2 squared? Put it down in the comments. Put it down in the comments. Put it down in the comments. So that right there, my friends, is going to be 1 over 9. Okay. Now let's punch this in the calculator. So 1 over 3 minus 1 over 9 gives us a negative 4 over 9. Right? Okay. Now the next step is to square that first term and that last term and put them into one bracket and squaring that bracket. So the square root of x squared is going to be an x, and then the square root of 1 over 9 is going to leave us with 4 over 9. Okay, so guys, this pen right here is running out of ink, so I'm going to use the green pen now. Okay, and now the second step is to rearrange it, because remember this was negative. Let's put a negative into let's make a huge bracket and put a negative outside the bracket. I'm going to show you guys something now. Okay, now that we've added a negative outside this huge bracket, what we're going to do is just rearrange everything. We're going to multiply everything inside the bracket and just rearrange it, giving us 4 over 9 minus x minus 1 over 3 square right there. Okay, guys, we're not done yet. There's still a lot we need to do. There's still a ton of work that needs to be done. So bear with me. Stay there. Now we're going to put it back into that bracket we had. No, not the bracket, the square root. We're going to put it back into that original square root we had from the beginning. We're going to put it back into that. Now we're going to put it back to that square root we had in the beginning. Let's do that. Okay. Now, comment down below if you know what the next step is going to be. Comment it down below. If you don't know what the next step is going to be. Okay. So now, when you look at this, right, there are certain rules in your formula sheet that show what you're going to do here. Now, when you look at your formula sheet, you're going to notice that this matches this formula that's given right here. This formula that's given right here. Right? But now you need to identify your a squared, b squared, and x squared. So now when you look at the formula, this formula that's given here, your 4 over 9 is going to be your a squared. And now, when you square root this, that's going to leave us with a 2 over 3. Now, let's look for the b squared. So when your b squared is 1, that automatically makes b equal to 1. Now, last but not least, let's look for the x squared. Let's look for the x squared now. So now the x squared is obviously going to be x minus 1 over 3 squared. And then when you square root this. That's going to leave us with x is equal to x minus 1 over 3. Right? And now, when you substitute it back into this formula, the same formula, that right there is going to leave us with guys, there was no space, but I managed to fit everything in. Okay, so final answer is the square root of 3. That's there. And inside the bracket opens there and closes there. I tried my best to fit everything there, but I couldn't. But yeah, guys, we left it 4 over 9 over 2, sine inverse, x minus 1 over 3 over 2 over 3 plus x minus 1 over 3 over 2, the square root of 4 over 9 minus x minus 1 over 3 squared plus c. Okay, guys, we got this. We just got one more question there. Just one more question now. Guys, I know that this was a mouthful, but you just need to practice this thing over and over again in order to get it right. Now, let's do the last and final question. So, the last and final question is y is equal to x cubed times 2 to the power of e. Wait. So, now the final question is y is equal to x to the power of 3 times e to the power of negative 2x. When you first look at this, it should automatically click that you need to apply integration by parts. Okay. I don't know how your lecture taught you, but when I was in college, my lecture taught me the Liate technique. So the L stands for logarithmic, the I stands for inverse, the A stands for algebraic, the T stands for trigonometric, and the E stands for exponential, right? And this is the method he taught me. So the mere fact that we have the x cubed there, that's the algebraic. We're going to differentiate that. Okay, we're going to make that u is equal to x cubed, right? We'll make that u is equal to x cubed. Now, when you differentiate that, that's going to leave us with 3x squared. Now, we just need to make du the subject of the formula, leaving us with du is equal to 3x squared dx, right? We left it there now. Okay. Now, the next thing we're going to do is integrate this. We're going to integrate this. So now let's do it. So we're going to say dv is equal to, so we're going to say dv is equal to e to the power of 2 negative 2x. And now when we integrate that, that's going to leave us with this right here is going to leave us with e to the power of negative 2x over negative 2. Right? Yo, guys, I need to get a whiteboard. But soon, 2026, I'm going to get myself a drawing tablet so I don't have to use this anymore. All right. Okay. Let's do this, guys. Let's do this. Okay, now this is the formula we're going to use. So we're going to use this is equal to uv minus the integral of v du. So now what we're going to do is just substitute everything inside there, leaving us with so that's going to leave us with x cubed times e to the power of negative 2x over 2 minus e to the power of negative 2x over negative 2 times 3x squared. All right, all right, all right. And now our next step is going to be take out this 3 over 2, take it out there, and that's going to leave us with 3 over 2 and those two terms. Now, what we need to do again is apply integration by parts again. We need to apply it again. Let's do it. Let's do it. Okay. So your u is going to be x squared. Your u is going to be x squared. Your dv once again is going to be e to the power of negative 2x. Now what are we going to do? We're going to differentiate the 2x, leaving us with a 2x. Now we just need to make du the subject of the formula, leaving us with du is equal to 2x dx. Now when you integrate this e to the power of 2x, e to the power of negative 2x, that's going to leave us with e to the power of negative 2x over, wait, over negative 2. Right, all 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 right. And now we're going to do what we did previously, right? We're going to do what we did previously. So that right there is going to leave us with this formula again. Yo, guys, I'm sorry, but it looks like all my, literally, most of them ran out of ink. And unfortunately, now I cannot carry over, but I encourage you guys to go to that question. You have an idea of what to do. And yeah, but if you guys like the video, if you feel like you learned something, make sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Do that good stuff. Tomorrow I'm gonna get myself some new whiteboard markers because it looks like all of them are finished now. They all just finished. And take care. Peace out. Happy Fiesta.